Hi, I am Dr. Duresfe Itagayuna. I will be your faculty for this lecture. The Code of Ethics was promulgated to ensure the safety and welfare of patients. It contains the fundamental ethical principles and professional responsibilities of physicians towards patients, the healthcare system, the community, their colleagues, and the profession, allied professionals, and the health products industry. It details our obligation in maintaining the honorable tradition of the physician who is the friend of mankind. Section 1 details the fundamental principles to guide the physicians. There is principle of respect for life, and the right of life is inviolable. Life is a necessary condition for all other human goods and must be protected and fostered at all stages from conception to death. Every person has worth and dignity. Trust is core to the physician patient relationship, and physicians, us, we need to respect patient autonomy. Principle of social justice. All patients have a right to basic health care and a just process in the allocation of resources. And four, the principle of beneficence. The interest of the patient shall be placed above those of the physician. Societal pressures, financial gains, and administrative exigencies should not compromise this principle. And five, primum non nocere, the foremost responsibility of the physician is first to do no harm to the patient. The general principles. The primary objective of the practice of medicine is the service to mankind. 2. The physician should be upright, diligent, sober, modest, imbued with professionalism, and well versed in the science, art, and ethics of the profession. Physicians should promote the health of their patients as their primary condition, and physicians should fulfill the civic duties of good citizens, must conform to the laws, and cooperate with the proper authorities in the application of medical knowledge for the promotion of health and public safety. And more general principles, physicians should work together in harmony and mutual respect. Physicians should cooperate with other healthcare professionals in the context of interprofessional and collaborative practice in support of better health care. Physicians, although they have certain rights in relation to their patients, shall always observe the dictum service beyond the call of duty. That's why when you go on duty class, you will have to stay in the hospital for as long as you are needed or until the work is done. Article 3, the professional responsibilities to patients. 1 is professional competence. Physicians should be committed to lifelong learning, providing holistic, compassionate medical care, and with the highest respect for human dignity. Patients' trust. Physicians shall display competence, reliability, integrity, and open communication. 3. Physicians shall be compassionate, be courteous, and professional in manner. Physical examinations shall be conducted in a modest, caring, gender sensitive manner, ensuring free and informed consent, preserving anonymity. The physician shall ensure that the professional fees are reasonable and commensurate to services rendered. The nature of the case, time consumed, risk involved, the professional standing of the physician, and the financial status of the patient as well. Disclosure. Physicians shall exercise good faith, honesty, and tact in expressing opinions as to diagnosis, treatment options, risks involved, and prognosis to a patient under their care. Timely notice of the worsening of the condition should be revealed and complications be discussed appropriately. And specialists, when brought on board, should be properly discussed with the family. Autonomy. A physician shall obtain voluntary informed consent prior to performing any procedure or treatment. All relevant information should be provided in a manner that is understood by the patient and or the relatives. Consequences should be discussed. When incompetent to decide, the next of kin or legally authorized representative should provide the consent. Privacy and confidentiality should be kept even until after the patient's death, except, of course, when required by law or order for justice, safety, and public health. This shall cover also electronic information systems. Emergencies. A physician is required to administer the minimum of first aid unless there is risk to his person, and then refer to a more competent physician or facility later on. In the absence of the next of kin, the physician may initiate treatment without prior informed consent, but should obtain such consent at the earliest possible time thereafter. More on the decorum and behavior of a physician. The physicians have the right to choose whom they will serve, except in emergencies when they have to render care. The physician shall demonstrate professionalism at all times when dealing with patients. The physician shall demonstrate humility, empathy, and compassion towards patients. The physician shall attend to patients within the limits of his capabilities, and the physician shall not exploit patients for any personal gain. Section 4 is the professional responsibilities of the physician to the healthcare system. One is improving quality of care. The physicians shall be dedicated to continuous improvement in the quality of healthcare. This entails maintaining clinical competence through lifelong study and working collaboratively with other professionals to enhance patient safety, optimize outcomes of care, and the proper use of healthcare resources. Physicians shall actively participate in the development and application of better measures of quality of care. 2. Improving access to care. Physicians must contribute to improving access to equitable health care by providing appropriate medical services within the different levels of the healthcare system in both the public and the private sectors. Cost effective management of limited healthcare resources. Physicians should place paramount consideration on the cost of diagnostic tests and procedures and of management and treatment modalities recommended. Physicians shall avoid superfluous tests and procedures, unnecessary medical services, unproven remedies which expose patients to possible harm, additional expense, and inappropriate utilization of limited resources. Research. Physicians should obtain the approval of the Institutional Review Board before conducting any form of research. The physician participating as principal investigator shall exercise full disclosure and ensure that patients or participants are well informed about the difference between physician-patient relationship in clinical practice and patient participation in any form of research. The physician, as a researcher, should ensure that the research shall be scientifically sound and shall be shared with colleagues in the health profession at the end of it. Section 5 is the physician's responsibility to the community. Government. Physicians shall assist the state by participating in the formulation and proper implementation of health policies, acting as an expert witness or amicus curiae when requested in the administration of justice, providing up-to-date and accurate information on health issues, and assisting in the promotion of health and safety. Section 5, physician's responsibility to the community. We also have duly constituted health authorities. Physicians shall cooperate with them by educating the community, enforcing measures for the prevention, promotion, management, and rehabilitation in accordance with existing laws, rules, and regulations, attending to victims in times of epidemic and calamities, except, of course, when his or her personal safety is at stake, increasing the level of awareness of the public and the duly constituted health authorities on the dangers of communicable and non communicable diseases. Protection against unlicensed practitioners. It is unprofessional for physicians to aid and abet the practice of the medical profession by unqualified and unregistered individuals. Physicians have the duty and obligation to expose and report to proper government agencies unlicensed medical practitioners, charlatans, and quacks for the protection of the public. Promotion of practice. The physician shall be involved in the promotion of the medical profession, but shall not employ agents in the solicitation and recruitment of patients. For the promotion of medical practice, physicians may use professional cards, the internet, directories, and signboards, but these signboards shall not exceed 1 by 2 meters in size. However, these signboards may be placed by physicians only within the confines of his or her clinic or his residence. Signboards and internet posting should contain, remember this, only the name of the physician, the field of specialty, the office hours, and or the office or hospital affiliations, nothing much more. The act of physicians in publishing their personal superiority, special certificates or diplomas, postgraduate training, specific methods of treatment, operative techniques, these things are not allowed. However, these matters may be placed by physicians within the confines of his clinic or residence. Physicians' responsibility to the community, media exposure. Physicians involved in media must be well informed of the subject matter under discussion. Only the name of the physician and membership to a society or institution may be mentioned or posted. Articles written by the physicians must be evidence based. They should disclose any potential conflicts of interest if relevant, and physicians shall not commercially endorse any medical or health product. So, if you're supposed to give a lecture sponsored by a pharmaceutical company, you cannot have your face and the picture of the pharmaceutical product side by side when you give that lecture. Responsibilities to the profession. One, continuing professional development. Physicians should engage in CPD activities that will result in the maintenance of their competence and their fitness to practice the profession on their own or with the support of their own institutions or professional societies. Responsibilities, professional interactions. Physicians have an obligation to maintain the good image of the profession and should recognize, avoid, disclose to the general public any conflicts of interest that may arise in the course of their professional duties and activities. Proper disclosure of relationships between physicians and businesses should be stated when engaging in activities such as, but not limited to, conducting clinical trials, serving in relevant committees, writing research papers, editorials, or therapeutic guidelines, serving as an editor of scientific journals, engaging in discussions, or in delivering presentations. Professional decorum. A physician shall practice self regulation and be upright, diligent, sober, and modest when dealing with the public. He shall be well groomed and dressed appropriately in the workplace, and he shall avoid using offensive language. Protecting the good name of a colleague. Physicians should strive to protect the good name of colleagues. However, when complaints are brought to one's attention, the physician is duty bound to refer such complaints to the proper forum for resolution. Professional courtesy to colleagues. A physician shall provide courtesy to colleagues and waive his professional fee when providing essential and evidence based medical care to colleagues, their spouses, minor and disabled children, and parents. This includes waiving the professional fees in package deals. Conflict management among physicians. Whenever there is an unsettled difference of opinion or conflicts among physicians, it should be referred to the proper forum for due process. The conflict may be settled within the ethics committee or, or commission of the following either the departments, an institution, the Philippine Medical Association, or the Professional Regulation Commission. Substitution for suspended patient care. In cases where a patient has to suspend service in his clinic or hospital, he must make sure that the reliever or substitute physician shall have similar qualifications and shall treat the patients with the same dedication and quality of care extended to his own patients. Moreover, the patient should be duly informed of the patient's consent to the substitution, including professional fees. The care of the patient should be returned to the primary physician as soon as possible. Alternatively, the patient may request transfer of care or handover to his physician of choice. Professional compensation. The professional compensation should be reasonable and shall be guided by the patient's capacity to pay, the standard fees in the community, and such other factors as physician's expertise, the difficulty of the case, and the patient's comorbid conditions. The physician shall not give nor receive any referral fees, rebates, engage in fee splitting, charge exorbitant fees, and must not engage in ghost practice of the profession. Emergencies. In an emergency, a physician shall examine and treat a patient and shall continue to provide that assistance until it is no longer required. In case the patient has a private physician, the latter shall be notified of the diagnosis and for further management. In case the patient's private physician is not available, referral to another physician should be made. Sharing expertise with colleagues. The physician shall share his expertise with his colleagues either in actual care of patients or in scientific lectures, group discussions, bedside rounds, and other educational activities. What are the responsibilities of the physician to the allied health professionals? 1. Teamwork. Physicians shall work with other members of the allied health professions as a team in a climate of mutual acceptance, responsibility, support, respect, openness, and cooperation. Quality care involves active participation of the health team in promoting the well being of the patient. Safeguarding interest and dignity. A physician should cooperate with and safeguard the interest, reputation, and dignity of every allied healthcare professional with whom he shares the common objective of promotion and maintenance of human health. Maintaining propriety. A physician shall observe appropriate relationships when dealing with other health care professionals. He shall avoid bullying, sexual harassment, abuse or exploitation, unethical practices, and abetment of any wrongdoing. Legitimate practice. Illegal practice of medicine. Physicians shall report to the proper authorities any illegal practice of medicine. A physician is engaged in legitimate practice of medicine when he or she complies with all the requirements imposed by the Board of Medicine to be a licensed physician. Article 9 speaks of the physician's professional relationship with the health product industry. Common good. Physicians and the health product industry are partners in providing quality health care. Physicians have the responsibility to provide quality medical care by obtaining accurate, valuable scientific information on the health products to be used in the diagnosis and treatment of patients. Ethical and professional conduct. Physicians must ensure that they should not take advantage of the health product industry, neither should they allow themselves to be exploited in this relationship. The physician should not solicit favors from the biopharmaceutical and medical device companies for personal interest or gain. Physicians shall be guided accordingly. Under ethical and professional conduct are 4 items. Physicians should exercise sound judgment, self restraint, and discipline when participating in activities organized by the biopharmaceutical and medical device companies, which may be misconstrued as influencing their prescribing practice. Physicians shall not rely solely on financial support from these companies in complying with their requirements for continuing professional development. Physicians may be engaged as resource persons in these companies to provide information or advice on topics such as therapeutics, specific needs of patients, product positioning, and pharmacovigilance. This relationship should not bind physicians to promote, prescribe, or recommend a particular equipment or product. Physicians shall not participate in any marketing strategies, including but not limited to the special prescription pads, rebates, commissions, or raffles. Violation of any section of the Code of Ethics shall constitute unethical and unprofessional conduct, and therefore be a sufficient ground for the reprimand, suspension, or revocation of the certificate of registration of the offending physician in accordance with the provisions of the Medical Act of 1959. Let us all be guided accordingly. Thank you very much.